everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I'd do a few updates on some orchids that have done things while I've been away. So I went to the Peak District for a 4-day kind of long weekend and I prepped the orchids as best I could before, so it wouldn't usually be a problem, but at the moment it's been pretty hot. So for example, my vandas I've been needing to do extra things with. But I've got back and everything's fine. No issues as such. I've had a few surprises though while I've been away. So this is my Oncidiums Bartley Schwartz Highland White that I got from a garden centre and ID'd on the Inca Orchids website. So it's not 100% ID, but they have a select range of orchids that they do, and this one matches pretty nearly identically to their Oncidiums Bartley Schwartz Highland White. And it had a flower spike when I got it, which has since dried up. You can see it at the back there. And it produced 2 more flower spikes from the latest growth, which grew super quickly. And it had the spikes and buds forming when I went away. And they've opened up on one of the spikes while I've been away. And this is actually a 110 centimetre flower spike. So I can't really fit the plant and the spike on one shot. But that's the plant. As you can see, it's quite a big plant. And it's got another spike still growing, and then this spike that's matured, and it's absolutely huge, which is good. I've got lots of flowers and the smell is amazing. It's really fragrant. So that was a really nice surprise to come home to, and it's absolutely huge flower spike. One of the other things that I've had surprise me is a little pinguicula, which actually, these are the carnivorous plants which have sticky leaves that catch flies on. These are my fungus gnat control systems. So as you can see, we've got a few little fungus gnats caught there. And we've got a really cute little flower there. I feel like the camera's probably not going to focus on that very well. But yeah, it's really pretty. I really like it. This is the Pinguicula Wessa variety. And it's really cute. So as well as catching fungus gnats for me, also it looks really cute when it flowers, which I'm really happy about. So that literally was not starting when I went away, so that's matured super quickly. I know it's not an orchid, but it's part of my orchid pest control system, so it's good that it also flowers. Another orchid that we've got that's done something in the last few days is my Dendrobium Wayne Turville. So this was a really beautiful dendrobium that I kind of got because of the flowers, and I ordered it on eBay from a seller I'd never used before, and it arrived with no roots and what I thought were completely dried up eyes. They both kind of looked like that, and they looked like that on both sides, and I thought, oh, I don't know if that's actually going to produce new growth. But it did, and it matured really slowly at first. And then when I came home, it had really plumped up. You can see how plump that is. And the leaf has fully developed. So I think this is going to be a stalled orchid in that it's suffered some setback from obviously having no roots to begin with. This might develop a little bit more, but I don't know what's in there. But there's something in there. I don't know what it is. So this is a hybrid with Dendrobium falcorostrum. I think that's the main parentage. There's also some Kingianum in there and a few other Australian Dendrobiums that require a cold winter rest. And so this one, I'm not exactly sure what type of winter rest it had. I got it back in January and it did nothing for several months. Obviously it had no roots really. And then it produced this new growth, which has taken quite a while to mature. So I'm not sure if that counts as a winter rest. It had no roots really. But can you see there's like a little nub in there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the end of the pseudobulb or whether it's like another leaf starting to grow, because most of the growths on this are bifoliate. We've got a few unifoliate ones, the smaller ones, and obviously this is a small new growth if this is maturing. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I just noticed it when I checked it out when I got home. Not sure if you can really see, there's like a little dark nub. So I don't know what that is. It could just be the top of the pseudobulb. I'm not really hoping for flowers, but it just kind of surprised me that it had anything sticking out the top there. I was looking for maybe a second leaf, but I don't think it's going to produce that. So we'll see what that is, whether it's just, I mean, the old growths don't really have anything at the top. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that could be. Fingers crossed, but I very much doubt it's a flower spike. I just was intrigued as to what it might actually be, whether it is a second leaf starting, but it looks too nub-like for that. So something else that happened while I was away was this recovering Miltoniopsis. The growth has actually grown quite a lot, I noticed. The bulbs haven't plumped up, but the leaves do look a lot less floppy. They look a lot more firm. And I found this when I got home. So it's decided to start another new growth. I really didn't expect that. The new growth here does have roots now, which is really great. Try and show you a few little root nubs. And it's got a few more longer roots reaching down into the pot there. So yeah, I'm not sure what this one is actually thinking. I would much prefer it to just concentrate on maturing one new growth and then put out a second growth once it's got a decent root system and can actually plump up this very dried pseudobulb. But there we have it. It's decided to make another one. So I guess that means it's got excess energy if it's starting to recover and it's got a few little roots down in the media, but I just would prefer it didn't do this, but you know. At least I've got two new growths now, and it looks like it's well on the way to recovery. The chances have definitely increased of it making a successful recovery with having two new growths now, and as you can see, it clearly puts roots down from very small pseudobulbs. So I guess maybe next year this Miltoniopsis will be fully recovered. It's also doing this while it's 27 degrees in the grow room. The fans and lights have been on timers while I've been away, so it's kind of maintained it exactly the same as it has been while I was there. So yeah, that is interesting. And then the final orchid that I wanted to update you on was this Cattleya violacea. So this is the one that I got from the eBay seller, quite cheap, that I use regularly. And it was mounted in like a coconut husk block, which had stayed soggy for far too long and didn't really have any roots. And I'm just going to show you here, we finally have a root tip. Now I was really worried about this one because it had about 6 new growths, but no roots. And I had read that the Cattleya violacea is one of those species that's a little bit more fussy and doesn't actually start new roots from the new growths until the new growths are very nearly mature. And as you can see, this new growth isn't actually nearly mature. It's got one leaf here, and it's actually just got another leaf starting in there, which kind of indicates that it's not mature. Like, I can understand if this growth was going to be smaller, because obviously it's been through quite a lot of stress. But the fact that it's got another leaf starting in there, it's definitely going to be smaller, but this isn't nearly mature. So luckily, I guess maybe when it's under stress and needs new roots, it can put that effort in to starting some new roots. So I am really, really happy about that. So we've got this new growth here, which is the biggest one with a new root starting. And these growths have matured super fast. So you can see the bulbs, the pseudobulbs are very shriveled on the older growths. They haven't shriveled too much on some of the newer canes, the newer pseudobulbs. They're not too bad, they're shriveled. It did have some roots when I put it into this. They've since, many of them have died off because they were damaged during the repot. But it's starting new roots, so it looks like we are gonna be okay. This is the only growth it is starting new roots from. But so far we have this growth, which is the biggest, and then this growth behind here, which is the second biggest. So that one hopefully will start new roots soon. We've also got this growth here. And then even smaller, we've got this little growth here. So that is 4 new growths. And then around the other side of the plant, we've actually got a new growth starting here. So in total, we've got 5 new growths on this plant, and one of them is starting to produce roots. So I think it's finally kind of on the road to recovery. Obviously you can see it's quite dehydrated, but I think it's going to be absolutely fine now that we've got one pseudobulb. At least it's going to produce some roots for it. So yeah, that's kind of it on the updates for over the weekend while I've been away for 4 days. It's not a lot that's been going on, but I just thought I'd make a quick video showing you some of the things that I found when I came back home, which are quite interesting. And while I was away, there were many kind of long drives where I didn't have lots to do. So I may have ordered some more orchids, yeah, and equipment and grow lights. So I need to have a sort out of my grow room and make some room because we've got quite a few orchids coming. Now, I have a little bit of a moan. I ordered a Cattleya Dowiana off eBay, which is one that I've really wanted for a while, but it's quite an expensive orchid. And even young plants are like £30 just for maybe 3 years from flowering young plants. So it's not something that I've been hunting for. It's something that I've wanted for a while, but they're quite pricey, and I just thought I'll keep an eye out and see if I can find a near flowering size plant at a reasonable price one day. And one came up on eBay, and I got it for about £28 plus £4 postage for a 12-month from flowering size plant with 5 pseudobulbs. It looked quite good, quite reasonable. And this was about a month ago, and it did say on it that orders placed from Friday to Sunday would be delivered the following Monday, so like a 7-day gap really, because I ordered on a Sunday, so it said the following Monday it would be dispatched. Now, my actual dispatch time that I received after payment was around 3 days later. So kind of contradictory messages there, but I took it that it probably wouldn't be dispatched until the following Monday, so I should receive it within 10 days maximum, Royal Mail First Class, 10 days from ordering. And in actual fact, that date came and went, and I'd heard nothing, and it didn't mark as dispatch, so I sent the seller an email and said, you know, is it going to be dispatched soon, and heard nothing back. I let it go for sort of another week and sent them another email saying, are you going to dispatch this soon? Could you just give me an estimated time? I'm going away, so I kind of would like to know when it's arriving and when you're kind of planning on dispatching it. And again, nothing. So another week went by, and after hearing nothing again, and sort of a week before I was going away, I contacted eBay and said that I'd had a bit of an issue, and there's an option just to click to contact eBay to get them to step in to resolve the issue, and you also send a message to the seller. So I sent the message to the seller saying, you know, I've tried communicating with you, I just appreciate it if you would let me know when you're going to send this. I would still like the item. And again, heard nothing back. So I just eventually requested that eBay cancel the order and refund me, because I was kind of sick of waiting. I don't think you should have to wait a month from when you purchase something to when it's not even dispatched if you keep emailing the seller and not hearing anything. So yeah, that got refunded. And I kind of looked for another one, thinking I probably won't find anything for a long time. And I did find one, and it was much bigger, and it was from a seller that I've used before. It was more money, obviously. I thought about it for a while and thought, well, I don't know if I really need it. Do I really need it? And I kept thinking about it. And then I think because I thought I was getting one and then I didn't, psychologically I was like, well, I really, really want one now, even though I've waited quite a long time and been quite patient with it, trying not to spend too much money on the Dowiana, because like there's some near flowering size plants that are £100–200. It can be a very expensive orchid. So I found one from this seller, and it's the Rosita version, which is like a semi-polaric version. It's really beautiful. It's like a much more pink tone, because the Dowiana has that kind of reddish purple mottled lip. And I decided to go for it, and I purchased the Rosita version. And I also purchased a bundle of discounted orchids from this seller. He had like 13 discounted Cattleyas, Vandas, Odontoglossums. That's loads of different types of orchids saying they were all divisions from plants, that they didn't have many roots, they were a little bit dehydrated looking. He felt that they were recoverable, but they were obviously not in perfect condition, so he didn't want to sell them at full price. So that's like 13 orchids he put together for £30. And obviously I was buying the Doriana anyway, so I also added them on. Apparently the types of orchids that you get from that bundle is variable. If he decides that one isn't looking so good, he'll switch it out for another type. So yeah, I might have some surprise orchids coming. And my kind of thought process was, they're going to be discounted, they're not going to be in great condition, they're going to all be kind of rescues. I started off my orchid collection by rescuing discounted orchids, and that it would be quite nice to film the process and the recovery, and maybe then give some away at the end to you guys, where I don't really need 13 orchids, especially if there are some that might be very similar to ones I've already got. I'm not exactly 100% sure what I'm getting for that, but I know one of them, it should be the Cattleya Jungle Eyes, which is one I wanted for a while. So yeah, I thought for £30 I'll give it a chance and see how it goes. And then yeah, YouTube is kind of factoring into my orchid buying decision making process now, so it's kind of given me another excuse to buy orchids, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, I also ordered some species phals from Orchid Garden, because I used to order from Orchid Garden a lot and I kind of stopped ordering from them. Not an active decision, I just found other sellers that I kind of was more interested in trying, so I've tried them out, and then I thought, well, I'll try Orchid Garden again and see what they're like this time. Most of my species phals have come from Orchid Garden, so I do have a history of ordering from them, which has sometimes been a little bit hit and miss, I'll be honest with you. But yeah, we will see what those are like. So I need to get on with clearing my grow room and making some space. I hope you've enjoyed this update. As I said, I've also ordered some new grow lights, so I was going to make a video when I get those on positioning them and kind of updating some of my Oncidium setups. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video. And if you did enjoy this video and want to see more or see updates in future, then like or subscribe to my channel for more regular orchid updates. And I will see you guys later. Bye!